And it is a lovely day. Hurricanes have won 7 in a row. They are flying to San Jose to continue this 4-game road trip, but started in Philadelphia. It seems like forever ago. But that's where they were when they last played, and that's where they were when Pyotr Kochetkov played, in my estimation, and I am not an expert, the best period he has played for the Hurricanes ever. And I wanted to get more of an expert, and there's no doubt that Tripp Tracy, our FanDuel Sportsnet analyst extraordinaire, my friend, way more of an expert on this than I am. I thought the first period had all the makings of a guy that you ride with for a long time, not just this year. I thought he made the hard saves look easy, and he made some great saves, but I thought it was the best period he played as a Hurricane. What were your thoughts, especially period one?
Well, I mean, I preface it by saying it's been a steady build of, I think, the best stretch that he's played, and you and I have enjoyed talking about some other stretches. It seems like historically for Pyotr, they happen, typically December to January in there, where he's enjoyed his best and most stylish hockey. But that first period, the way that he was rolling going in, he was athletic at all the right times. He put himself in position to get hit at all the right times. And then most importantly, that breakaway save at 1-0, and then the ridiculous save with his toe, he altered the course of the game. And, I've been he's hilarious on the plane because he came back on the when we were coming back from Detroit on the dad's trip, and his dad wasn't able to make it over from Russia. But, his English has gotten way better, and he goes, "Hi, legends." And I told him, I said, Pyotr, this Instagram that you've got going is outstanding for young goaltenders. And I encourage anybody that hasn't checked it out to check it out. And I bring it up with regards to that first period and his save of the night, because he had just had a post about switching to this new tongue in his true skate. Now, Freddie Anderson has used it for a couple of seasons, but it's a 3D print. And in short, and if you look at his IG post, it gives him more flexibility. The skate feels more mobile and more of a one piece, not just, not the boot and the bracket. And you look at that save, he had said that with the previous tongue he used in his skate, he felt like he was moving in concrete. And that epitomizes, that mechanical adjustment he made, and then the athleticism that he's got. And, it's 1-1 if either one of those go. So aside from the fact that he truly looked like a number one goaltender, and he's looked like one for a significant stretch here, and if you're the Philadelphia Flyers early in the game, you're like, well, it's going to take something lucky to beat him here tonight. So, he's played some other phenomenal, I think about the third period against Toronto earlier this year at home, a game that did not start well. That was highlight reel-esque. But, for me, the game was on the line, looking for your 7th consecutive victory. Mm-hmm. And it was his second great first period in the 2 visits to Philadelphia this year that ends up allowing you to cruise to victory.
Yeah, I want to dig down on that, on the breakaway save and the follow. The breakaway was Ryan Poehling, who scored, by the way, in the other game that they played, I believe, up in Philadelphia. So he saves the breakaway there with he doesn't have to be fancy, right? He's just patient, and he makes the save. And then Bobby Brink has the second chance. But this is one of the reasons why I thought it was such a good period for him, is that you could follow his eyes in a way. Even though you can't see his eyes, you can see where his focus is. And I just thought his reads and anticipation were as good as they have ever been. And it made these saves seem easy, even though that toe save that you talked about is not an easy save. He was ready for it. And where I don't care how flexible you are, if you're not anticipating that, and this is something that, like Vasilevsky and Shesterkin and, Hellebuck, these guys do this on a routine basis. but it's the first time that I can see all of these things coming together for him. Maybe it's a hot streak, who knows? But to me, he was the first star of the game in the first period.
Yeah, Adam, you bring up amongst some other goaltenders, and by the way, a guy that he just beat in the homestand, Vasilevsky. Yeah. And if you watch him, and I'll go back and watch clips of the game. And when you're an analyst, you really can't do what scouts do or even a general manager does. And, they might watch 2 or 3 guys and specifically focus on them on a given night, depending on who they want to look at. As an analyst, my job is to view the entire game. So it's tough to do that. But when you look at the replay of the breakaway save and then the toe save, the big improvement for me is he didn't take a breath. It's easy to take a breath after you make a big breakaway save. And if you just solely focus on Kochetkov, there's zero breath. And the reason I reference Vasilevsky is that game in January, the rescheduled game, he had played a great game, but he took a breath late in regulation on a couple of different fronts, and it ended up costing the Hurricanes the game and cost him an otherwise excellent performance. And it's for me, that is just in a nutshell growth. If you just go back and watch him from the, playing big on the breakaway to then the toe save. I think earlier in his career, especially after a big breakaway save like that, he would have felt good about himself. He would have come off of it a little bit. You would have seen it in his movement. You could almost feel the relaxation prior in his head. And if you watch him, he didn't take any breath whatsoever, and that is, for me, massive growth.
Super encouraging sign. Just like watching a power play goal. Tripp, they scored a power play goal, and I actually loved the way they scored it rather than if they had just passed the puck around and gotten a one-timer, because I think it was a lesson, because it was shot, traffic, rebound, goal. It was you have an extra guy. Take advantage of the fact that you have an extra human on the ice. That, to me, that was what was the most encouraging about it.
Even if you back it up to the face-off. So the Kotkaniemi line had 2 excellent shifts in the first and second period of not dipping their toe in the water. And the one in the second period, Hall ends up scoring the goal, draws a penalty. So taking charge of the period very early. But then if you look at that power play face-off, it is Mr. Impactful. That is zero hyperbole. Diving in. You'd love to win face-offs clean, and you will at times. But you need guys diving in from the wings at any point, but let alone on a special teams face-off. And diving in from the wings is Jackson Blake that allows you to come up with power play face-off possession to start. Then you look at the puck movement. Nobody is stagnant, because if you have good puck movement and everybody's standing around, you're still not doing anything good. So you had bodily movement and puck movement, and then you had everybody converging on the net, whether it be Gostisbehere, who did a great job getting low for the initial shot, and then Aho's right there, and the loose change, and Hall hammers it home. So right back from the face-off of diving in from Jackson Blake to get that power play possession, you had every ingredient sequentially that you want in a power play goal.
So I wrote down that, to me, that was one of the best plays of the night. That pass, which he doesn't get an assist on because there were 2 other guys touched the puck before Hall scored. The Robinson one-armed assist from the corner, which was for the first of 2 Mark Jankowski goals, who continues to shoot 100% from the floor. This is like Moses Malone. That's what he's become. But I want to get back to Jackson Blake, because I don't know that you can play any better without scoring a goal and not be a goalie. So it's been 18 games without a goal for him, and I'm not sure he's not been one of Carolina's maybe 5 best players regardless of position since that time.
He's driven whatever line he's been on for the most part, and I would have needed a lobotomy. The GM meetings just finished, and I know they talked about goalie interference, but to be able to get to the front of the net and to create the all-important first goal of the game with willingness, determination, and then skill. if, and I said, I thought about it afterwards, John Tortorella, one of the reasons he probably challenged is because he knew what Carolina's power play was at that point.
Right, exactly.
Truthfully. And, but if they had ruled that no goal, I would have needed a lobotomy on the spot. But Jackson Blake created all of it. And so when you and I have the privilege of watching, with the eye test, and you can look at the advanced numbers on a regular basis, take Michkov for Philadelphia. He has figured out, he's a couple of years younger, the grind of the NHL season.
Yeah.
Not just the impact in the playmaking and shooting department, but his growth away from the puck, defensively. I totally believe, with very little hesitation or fear, that Jackson Blake, who has impressed us all year, his best moments in his rookie season are in front of him, not behind him. It's just what you see on a nightly basis.
Yeah, I mean, he just impacts the game in so many different ways. 18 games, no goals, 7 assists. He's a +9. And I know he's playing on the top line. I know Rod Brind'amour really, in his heart of hearts, wants to have Andrei Svechnikov there just to add some more size, because when we go into the playoffs and it becomes more physical, it will be more difficult for him. But to me, that line with Blake, Jarvis, and Aho has been too good to not leave together, at least for now. Let me ask you one quick thing, or maybe two quickly before we go, because I know you're about to board a plane. Is Andre making the trip west, as far as you know?
I do not know, because I walked my dog, Frank, this morning, and right now I'm having a moment because God bless America, but you can have California, and there's nothing like getting on a 5-hour flight if we've got a good headwind with tight pants going in. And so my hope is that he will be on the trip, but I did not attend practice today. So today was going to be your first full skate, with some well-timed optionals yesterday and Monday. So I'll have that news shortly when I board the aircraft. Listen, with a team that's won 7 in a row, and truthfully, since the trade deadline, it hasn't surprised me even in the least, because the intuition was that, when they had an outcome, it's a really cohesive group that, boy, Scott Morrow deserves a lot of credit, by the way. He's allowed you to be patient with Dmitry Orlov. But, you want to err on the side of caution whenever Svechnikov returns and if he's on this plane. But even with all these groovy things going on, AG, Andrei Svechnikov has had a tough year, and he has the ability to turn a game on its ear. You still could say that he is the most important forward of the group. If they can get him, Andrei, with charisma, on and off, in terms of what he brings to their lineup, even with all this good stuff going on, you become infinitely more dangerous.
No question about it. He is a game-changing player. He was in a yellow non-contact jersey at the skate today, at the practice today. Dmitry Orlov took regular shifts with Shane Gostisbehere. It almost does look like we're going to see a defensive pair change with Orlov and Gostisbehere together, maybe, unless they were just letting, I don't know. I don't even know what they were doing, but because I wasn't out at the practice today. But Slavin and Burns practiced together. Gostisbehere and Orlov, Chatfield and Walker. Man, they've all been good, and I think Scott Morrow has been really good. He has certainly given I think he's at least given the organization the confidence to know that if he's needed, he can play. And I know fans tend to go overboard with prospects, but if he's needed, I think he's more than capable of playing. And who knows when Alexander Nikishin comes over from the KHL. All right, Tripp, you got to go board a plane, tight pants and all. Good luck on the flight to California, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
Hey, G, I look forward to it. Love you, and I'm already missing Carolina. Again, no disrespect to California, but out on the dog trails this morning,
gorgeous.
I don't want to leave.
Yeah,
I don't want to leave, but hopefully it's a good swing through the Golden Bear State.
There you go. Thanks, Tripp.
Talk to you.